All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Kingdom of the Kael Isles, when Jody forgets to mute the Twitch stream.
One again.
I just got mad skills, that's all I can say. Yes, this is my custom D&D campaign. The people below me are the people who play. Their character names are underneath them. They're super awesome. And in about 2-ish weeks, most of these guys will have been playing together for 2 years. I've been doing this for 2 years, guys. That's nuts. I've never had a campaign run that long. So I'm super excited about that. These guys just hit level 9, so they're getting super close to that tier 3 barrier where stuff starts getting really crazy. So yes, I recently took a short break from creating content and things like that because of other things going on in my life, and I'm just coming back to it, and I'm trying some new stuff. One of the things that I've never explicitly mentioned to you, the lovely audience, whether you're watching live on Twitch or you're watching on the YouTube channel, is we do appreciate your support. We do want to interact with you and things like that. However, we also want to have a really immersive, constantly flowing forward story. So in general, we're not really going to react on screen to things that are said in chat. However, I know I am personally, and some of the other cast members will too. We will type in chat. I have chat open actually on a couple different windows. So I am seeing you guys. I will interact with you guys in chat actually. But as far as being a DM, the stuff I say on screen and everything is mostly going to be focused on the game. So please, please, please feel free to, heckle us or, say how awesome the DM is. Or, you could compliment the DM, or you could even talk about just the amazing quality DMing that happens in this game. Or you could say something nice about the players. I guess that would work as well. But feel free to talk in chat, talk to each other, talk to us. We will try to interact as much as we can, but we are here to play and entertain not only you guys, but entertain ourselves as well. So, to kind of... Oh, the other thing, you guys may notice that it looks like I'm not lit well. It looks like I'm playing in a very dark room. It's not. Roll20 decided to just completely shit the bed on the video, and we can't get it to work. So we're using a Google Plus Hangout, and in order to keep the camera from switching to everybody else's camera and kind of darkening their picture whenever they talk, I have it permanently set to just focus on mine. However, that means it looks like I'm very poorly lit right now, and I don't really have a solution for that. So yeah, that's why I look like I'm playing in the dark or using a really bad filter on my camera. So to get back to the story, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars is not happening here. To go all the way back to the beginning, if this is your first time seeing anything, since this is the start of a new arc-ish, most of this group was brought together by a member of the Eladrin Elite, a platinum rapier known only to these guys as Aethwin. And he hired most of these guys to get this pirate that they were having issues with. Their solution to getting this pirate was to pick a fight with a bunch of his crew, get knocked out, captured, and then explode the pirate's ship, which worked remarkably well. They landed on a deserted island, met a colony of sentient spiders that gave them this really cool sail, and they left the island, landed on another island full of undead. They met a dragon there that was kind of being used and drained of his arcane energy. One of the characters, who right now is played by an owlbear with a heart behind him, pledged service to this dragon and became a dragon knight. And they kind of blew up everything on this island as well. It's starting to become, you may notice a pattern going forward.
D&D.
And after that, they were finally able to make it back to society and found out that the Eladrin magocracy that is ruled over this group of islands called the Kael Islands has changed from just this very negative, oppressive empire into this kind of racial cleansing where they're currently attempting to either exterminate or enslave every non-Eladrin in the entire area. So these guys joined up with resistance, and on their first mission to recruit some new allies, they met this kind of spunky young human druid who joined up with them. And then they had a couple more adventures. They went to an arena to recruit some people to train their new army, and just recently escaped from there with Fade, the cleric who worships the deity in charge of death, known as the Dark Lady, getting a very strong inference that he needs to go further inland than him or any Eladrin he is aware of has gone in hundreds of years. And so they recently, after breaking out of the arena where they'd been imprisoned for probably close to a week-ish, they broke out with a couple new allies, got their allies to the ship that was able to take them back to their kind of secret hidden fort, and these guys proceed inward into what's collectively known as the Kael Wilds. It's just a massive forest that covers most of the inland of the largest island in the Kael Isles, which is called Kael Isle, remarkably enough. And again, Eladrin in general, all of their cities are on the coast. None of them go more than a couple miles inland, and Eladrin in particular, and really everybody else, have been taught that the Kael Wilds are dangerous, are deadly. People go in there and they never come back. So that's where we are right now. You guys have been traveling for a couple of hours to make sure you are far enough away from the city that you didn't have to worry about being followed by guards or anything like that. You were pursued for the first probably about 20 minutes going into the forest just by other guards and things like that that got there after you took out the head of the arena. But you saw them, like I said, relatively quickly. You saw them stop pursuing you. And for the past about hour and a half-ish, you guys have had no one following you, no one really doing anything. You've been completely alone as far as anything. And you've been following Fade for the most part because he seems to be the only one that actually knows what's going on right now. Currently, the part of the forest that you're in has gotten thicker. The canopy itself blocks a large portion of the light. The trees themselves here are very, very tall, some growing 30 or 40 feet high, and the lower branches themselves on most of these trees won't start for 10 to 15 feet. So you guys are in a more heavily wooded place. It's relatively dark-ish, despite the fact that at this particular point in time, you're at like mid-morning-ish, maybe noon. Yeah, you are surrounded by forest. What would you guys like to do?
I I need to pray. I, I wake and pray.
Okay.
Kind of my thing.
So you
Okay,
guys,
should we take a short rest then?
I mean, we could. I'm up to full and I have all my hit dice and everything, so I assume we were rested.
yeah, you guys are currently you have the effect of a long rest
Oh, yay.
right now, so you are fine. But if you want to take a short rest, that's perfectly fine.
Uh,
Again, you are in.
I assume we hadn't, because
No, we're just going to assume because you can't really. You're technically not supposed mechanics wise. You can't level up unless you take a long rest. So we're going to
okay.
assume you've taken a long rest
Okay.
shortly after getting away from your pursuers, let's say, and it traveled another hour or so into the forest, and now you are where I described. So, however, you are again. You're in a place none of you have ever been in before. So there are a lot of different things that you can do on a short rest that could kind of help you get your bearings and stuff like that while Fade prays. You guys don't have a lot of food. You didn't have a ton of food when you left the arena. Most of your food you either ate while you were there or was taken from you. So food may start becoming an issue eventually.
I got it. We're fine.
Beyond that, again, you're in a brand new place. Kata, with you having grown up in the wild, one of the things you notice immediately, the trees here are very different from the trees that you're used to being around. They're a completely different type of tree. The air even smells different. It feels different here, which is unique to you. And Avok, again, you've been around more of the Kael Isles than anyone else in the group, simply because that was part of your job. And just from being around other people who were superstitious about this area, you have a very healthy apprehension about being here. Even if you don't believe, and I'll let you kind of decide that, even if you don't believe that these forests are, the dangerous place that they're, told to be, just being around other people that did believe it gave you this kind of healthy appreciation for being apprehensive about the forest. So
Avok, yeah, I would say Avok, he's cautious, but he feels most of it was probably exaggerated.
awesome. Okay. So Fade, I'd like you to make me just straight up wisdom check.
Certainly.
While Fade is praying, you guys watch as Fade kneels down, very familiar position. You see him take out his holy symbol shield that he uses and start praying. While he's doing that, is there anything you guys would like to do? While you guys are deciding, Fade, would you get on your roll?
I add 5 to my 5 for a total of 10.
Okay, so as you're praying and kind of invoking the power of your god, you feel a pull is basically all it is. It's strange, you can't really explain it, but you feel a pull in the direction that you've been traveling, and that's it. No message, no, you don't get transported to the circle that you're used to seeing. And you have noticed since that last experience you had that the kind of connection you have between yourself and the Dark Lady hasn't felt the same since then. Not in a bad way or anything like that, but something has definitely changed.
Sure, she did certainly let me know that she wasn't going to be, or she's not as strong as she once was. She definitely gave me her all so far. So we'll see.
Okay. So, you guys, while he's praying and figuring out where to go.
Can I look for any signs that we're in like an animal's territory or something like that?
Sure. Go ahead and make me a survival check.
Okay.
Can I assist in that?
Sure. You would. You'd be relatively comfortable.
I'm proficient in survival,
yeah.
so.
Yep, so am I.
So,
Alright, so-
Kata, go ahead and make that with advantage.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
You're used to kind of looking around for different kind of animals you're gonna have to watch out for.
That's really good. 27.
27. All right. Looking around, you notice some more common things. Kind of game type animals like deer and things like that you've seen around. You've seen the paw prints of a few predatory type creatures. They're a little bit different than what you're used to seeing, so you can't tell the specific species, but you think you've seen the footprints of some large cats, possibly the footprints of like a bear, things like that. You know, predatory creatures and stuff like that. And then you've seen it was a 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then you've seen a couple
It was
tracks.
a 19 plus 8.
You've seen a couple tracks you can't identify. They're completely new to you. They don't match any animals that you've ever seen or hunted or dealt with in your life. And Avok, you kind of get the same thing where, again, you're used to looking for predators because those are the things you have to protect yourself from. You're used to looking for game animals because that's what you eat. And then there are these weird marks that don't make sense. The way that the footprints are laid out, these creatures don't adhere to body types that you're aware of. The tracks are in awkward places. It seems like there are too many tracks, but it doesn't look like it wouldn't make sense for animals to walk single file to hide their numbers. Animals generally aren't that talented, so you can't really figure out why there are tracks where there shouldn't be, and it's just very, very bizarre.
That weird.
So after, as you guys kind of fan out a little bit, you probably go a good 500 feet in every direction, just kind of wandering around, not going far enough away that you really lose sight of Fade or go outside a distance that you could, hear something went wrong. But you go pretty far to get an idea of what's going on here. And as you come back, Fade is kind of dusting himself off and standing up. So what would you like to do?
Hey, you got idea of where we should go, Fid?
I think so. Let me finish this up real quick. So I quick throw out my holy symbol and ritual cast detect magic. So I have that up for a little bit here. And
Okay.
I will also cast aid on the three of us, which will give us a 5-point maximum hit point increase for the day.
Okay.
And that will be it.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna say she's leading me this way, where I felt the tug, and leave it at that. I pretty much told these guys everything I could tell them about her and what she's doing.
So as you you guys watch him sit there and focus on his holy symbol, I'm going to say you cast the aid first, just because narratively it works better. You guys feel slightly more strengthened, and feel like you can deal with a little bit more. And then you watch him cast a ritual you've seen him cast many times before. And Fade, as you finish the ritual, it's almost like opening your eyes for the first time. Because as you open your eyes, you're used to seeing kind of a latent, kind of magical energy, kind of left over from whenever anyone accesses the weave. There's this kind of latent magic that kind of permutes and goes through everything. But as you activate the detect magic here, your eyes and your vision kind of lights up, and you can see what almost look like fireflies and things like that around you. Little like glowing pieces of magic that are just kind of infused in this area. The magic is so heavily concentrated in this area that it actually hangs in the air heavier. And so looking around you, you can see that if you look back in the direction towards the beach, it gets a little bit less magical. And as you look in the direction that you were walking, it looks more magical.
Okay.
And you actually, another thing that stands out a little bit is there's a couple tracks of animals in the ground that just the outlines glow in your vision ever so slightly, which you've never seen before.
Sure.
Detect magic doesn't track for you. Like, it doesn't work on animals.
So I will ask this. So with this kind of seeing everything in the air and in everything, is there like a concentration of dew or moisture anywhere that I could possibly take a sample of this?
The forest itself is not, it's not dry, it's not particularly humid, and it's past the point that there would be dew on the ground.
Okay. Then I will start looking at these tracks real close and say, this is what we're after, guys. For the time being.
Were they the tracks that we found?
So he goes over and he actually points at one of the sets of tracks that don't make sense.
Okay.
And as you guys look at it, you can't tell what kind of creature could have made these tracks. And Fade, as you kind of look at them, they don't like radiate magic or anything like that, but they are just barely kind of outlined in magic as you look at them.
I start walking in the direction that I was nudged towards.
Okay. The tracks do lead in a different direction than the one that you were nudged.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'm just going to point out, look at Avok and point out. So, you know how I had that feeling about that stupid orb underwater? I have a feeling that these things are pretty powerful too. So, I guess keep your eyes open. I will too, obviously. But let's get going.
All right. So, give me a marching order. Who's going first, second? Elaine, we are going to assume, is just kind of following wherever you guys think he would be.
I'll take up front.
Okay.
Okay.
When we assume that, I guess I'll go second.
Okay. So you guys are kind of following from in front of Fade, which is not difficult, just sometimes awkward because he's the one that's kind of calling the shots. But as you guys keep getting further in the forest, I would like everyone to make perception checks for me. Kata, I'm going to have you make it with advantage.
Okay.
Just because of your upbringing.
18.
Okay.
Oh, wait, 19.
All right. Avok?
21.
Okay. Fate?
Less than that.
Less than that. I need to know how much you got, though.
16.
16. All right. So you actually all kind of recognize. As you're going forward, after about probably an hour or two, you guys are walking, setting a decent pace. You guys aren't pushing yourselves too far or too hard or anything like that. But as you guys are going, you start to notice the air starts to get a little bit more humid. You start to feel a little bit differently. You start noticing that the trees themselves are looking slightly different. You're seeing more trees that have fallen over and things like that. Avok, specifically you, start noticing that the scent of the forest itself is just ever so slightly starting to change. And you smell this kind of sickly sweet, very, very difficult to place smell. But it's different, and it doesn't seem like it should be in a forest.
I have something to add to that.
Go ahead.
So our faithful bloodhound Scar got a natural 20, which comes out to a 23 in perception as well.
Oh, so see, so Scar turns to you, and you see him just kind of look around and smell, and he turns to you, Fade, and goes, "Different."
Did you fart?
And he just looks at you, and he pulls his sword out and starts moving forward again.
I pull out the mace and follow Ava, or continue to.
Yeah, Avon's got his great axe out. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I smell something too. I don't like it.
So as you guys continue to walk forward, that feeling of humidity and kind of just the weight of the air itself starts getting heavier and heavier. And as you guys travel forward, another 15, 20 minutes, you start noticing little particles of something floating in the air. And you start noticing, and you haven't really realized it as you were walking forward, but the trees themselves don't look the same anymore. And as you get close to a couple of them, you start noticing mushroom growth. A lot of mushroom growth. More than you would normally see. And as you guys move on further, you start seeing that the mushrooms themselves are getting bigger and bigger. And the trees themselves are becoming more and more covered in these mushrooms and various things. And the mushrooms themselves, some of them are very dull, some of them are very brightly colored, some of them even have a glow to them. It's very almost alien. And after walking for another hour or so, you guys start to notice that the air itself is very thick. It's a little bit more difficult to breathe here. You can see little particles floating in the air in various places, and you notice that what used to be trees are now giant mushrooms reaching up 20, 30 feet. Some of them being no higher than a few inches. You notice there will be entire areas that are just completely covered in green fungus and purple fungus and red fungus. And then there will be kind of bare patches where you see weeds and a little bit of grass and stuff like that. You do notice that whatever it is that's kind of hanging in the air has blocked most of the sunlight at this point, but the kind of bioluminescence you're getting from some of the mushrooms has made up for the fact that you're not getting a whole lot of natural sunlight anymore. So now you guys have kind of crossed into a different biome. What do you guys want to do?
Are we still on track with the direction I was thinking?
You you don't feel the pull. Like, you have to pray to feel the pull. But to your understanding, and you kind of explain the direction to Avok, who is significantly better at tracking and going in a straight line without a compass than you are, you're relatively certain you're going in the right direction.
Can I cast Pass Without a Trace?
Sure. So you guys,
just in case we might be hanging into a trap or something.
sure. So you guys watch as Kata starts to move her hands, and you see that kind of greenish glow that happens when she invokes her magic, and you guys feel this wave kind of pass from her over you guys, and the air seems to still a little bit. You guys start watching your footprints in the dirt and grass and mushrooms start disappearing.
Okay. I don't like this.
Me either.
Try not to breathe it in or step on any of them. I wrapped a piece of cloth from my fine clothes around my face.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
That's about right. That is a 19.
So the air is so thick right now that putting something up on your face that's not really designed to be a filter is actually making it very difficult for you to breathe. You're able to kind of fight through it, but you get the idea that any exerting yourself too hard while you have this thing on and you're in this area is going to be very difficult for you to breathe and get enough oxygen to your muscles to get them to work the way you want them to. So.
Okay.
So, where to?
I think I'm going to have to carefully look at the ground and kneel down, not on a mushroom, and pray again. Take a little time.
Okay. Go ahead and make me another wisdom check. You guys see him kind of kneel down for a second.
That would be a 7, Jody.
You're feeling your connection starting to slip. You still feel a very slight pull, so you know that you need to move. The direction is no longer really defined well. You're not really sure. You know you're not where you're supposed to be yet.
Okay. I bluff like I know where I'm going, and I pick a direction and say go that way.
And you mean the directions where the tracks are leading?
The tracks that you guys saw, those weird tracks, were an hour back.
Oops.
The way that if I feel like we were going, I will point constantly to and go this way.
Continue going the direction you were. Okay.
Yeah. Don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah, of course. Who wants that? So you guys continue to travel, and this kind of mushroom forest starts to become thicker and thicker, and you guys are having a harder time finding ways to kind of move through without disturbing various mushrooms and things like that, because none of you guys have seen this before. None of you guys have any idea what these mushrooms will do to you. You know at this point you are breathing in spores and things like that just because that's what's in the air. Other than the fact that Fade seems winded, you haven't noticed any ill effect. The rest of you guys, it is a little bit more difficult to breathe here, kind of like being in thin atmosphere. If you guys have ever been like really high, that kind of very quickly being breathless. Kind of similar here, where there's just not as much oxygen in this air as you guys are used to. As you guys get closer and closer, I'd like everyone to make perception checks with disadvantage now.
Okay.
Avok, you're starting to realize what it was that you were smelling. It was rotting plant matter.
17.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
23.
Wow, and that's all with disadvantage?
I got a natural 20 and I got a 20.
I rolled a
Wow.
14
You
and
guys
17.
did awesome. So
I
as
rolled
you
a
got
16 and a 9.
So as you guys are going along, you're starting to notice that not all of the mushrooms themselves are as stationary as the trees were. The mushrooms, you started noticing that some of the mushrooms sway a little bit in some invisible breeze that you can't see. You guys notice movement and things out of the corner of your eye. You started noticing that a few of the mushrooms that you're going past and walking under are taking on more spherical shapes and things like that. Yeah, the forest itself is getting thicker. What would you guys like to do?
I look at Kata and then I look up. Can we see the sky?
No, the sky is completely blacked out. Your only light comes from the bioluminescence of the mushrooms themselves. And at this point, you guys have been traveling for about 5 to 6 hours.
Boy, okay.
So you're getting
I
into
don't particularly want to go
mid-afternoon.
forward through this anymore, but we do need to go this way. So I look at Kata. Do you think you could carry us?
Uh,
Can you fly or anything yet? I don't
oh,
know.
oh yeah.
If I could open up a hole to the sky, can you get us out of here in a hurry?
Yeah, I can.
Pippin starts playing.
I what do you want to do? I think we still need to go this way. That's what I'll say to the group after that.
Okay, fair. I mean, just I don't want to be here, but I don't want to disturb whatever this is. I don't. I really. I'm starting to believe shit that I thought was bullshit.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to cast Conjure Animals at 3rd level. I summon 2 giant eagles, and then I'm going to transform into one myself.
I like that. Cool. So you watch as Kata concentrates, and you guys see magical energy start swirling around and forming, and you see it start to coalesce into 2 distinct forms. And as the forms begin to take shape, you hear the cry of giant eagles as they flap their wings and kind of situate themselves. And then after that's done, you watch as Kata starts to change shape and looks very similar to the 2 eagles that she has just conjured. Kata, once you get into your eagle form, you can tell the eagles themselves are very apprehensive about where they are. They can't see the sky. There's not actually enough room for them to fully spread their wings because the mushroom growth has gotten so dense, and so they don't like being kind of cooped up like they are right now.
So once they're here, I have a plan. Does anyone else want to offer up something first?
I'm afraid to ask, but what's the plan?
Hold your breath. I whip the thing off my face and start casting Sacred Flame just in like a circular thing around us to bring down the top of the canopy, kill all the mushrooms around us, and hopefully we can go straight up.
Okay. As you start kind of focusing and using the Sacred Flame, you notice that the mushrooms themselves, while the Sacred Flame is kind of affecting them, the biggest thing that you're noticing is the bioluminescence of the mushrooms is getting brighter as you cast Sacred Flame.
Oh, so would they be absorbing the magic?
It's a fantastic question.
I then notice this and start throwing out dual beams of chill touch at them.
Okay.
Hopefully dealing necrotic energy, because that's my
So
bag.
as you sit there and you see him start just firing these bolts of necrotic energy at these different... is it necrotic or is it cold damage?
I'll double check, but I believe it's necrotic. Chill touch is...
Oh, chill touch is the one where you throw your hand. I was thinking of Ray of Frost.
Chill touch is necromancy, and it does deal necrotic.
So as you sit there, kind of sitting there and attempting to use the chill touch to, rip out parts of these mushrooms and things like that, nothing's happening to the mushrooms, which is really, really weird. You're, again, necromancy and necrotic magic, you know a lot about. You've dealt with mushrooms before. Because there's a lot of different properties, alchemical properties of them. You've never seen a mushroom react like this. This is so far beyond your realm of understanding that you can't come up with an explanation as to why it's not working. Avok,
yes?
since you've been apprehensive this entire time, make me a perception check.
I call it caution. Shit. 10.
Yeah, looking around, you catch some movement out of the corner of your eye. You look over, nothing's there. And then out of the corner of your other eye, you think you see something, you look over, and nothing's there. Katsa, your summoned birds are really starting to get very agitated. They're starting to lash out a little bit. You can see they're starting to peck at the mushrooms a little bit, and as they're doing that, they're scratching the mushrooms, and you notice that the mushrooms themselves have almost a bark-like skin to them, and so as they're scratching these mushrooms, they're not really doing a ton of damage to them because of this thick outer shell. And they're just getting more and more agitated that they can't fly. They want to get out of here. They want to fly. So what would you guys like to do?
Oh, I've got some spells to waste here.
Do I notice, like, a guy looking around for something?
Yeah, with your kind of keen bird senses, you probably would recognize that. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. I think you get advantage because...
yeah, I do.
Vision.
I have keen sight.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and do that for me.
Alright, Jamie. 14.
So looking around, you notice you kind of follow Avok's look because you over the time that you've known him, he tends to be the one that sees danger first. And so when he kind of darts over, you follow his gaze and don't see anything. And then he darts to another direction, you follow his gaze and don't see anything. And then you look forward and something strange is just out of your field of vision. You can see something, but you can't really tell what it is. Whatever it is, it's floating in the air. It's relatively large, like almost as big as you are, and it's floating in the air, and it's circular from what you can see from where you are. But again, the air is so thick and it's so far away that you can't really pick out details beyond a silhouette. You do notice at the top of the creature, the silhouette is broken by something, but you can't really tell what.
I can't fly.
Can we carve out a path through this stuff using our bladed weapons to move forward?
You can still walk and everything like that. Like the mushrooms are not so thick that you can't move forward. Breaking through the kind of canopy of mushrooms is something that you guys, as of right now, you haven't figured out anything that will let you do that. Obviously, you've tried cantrips, and you've watched eagles kind of absent-mindedly scratch and peck at these things. So you haven't really tried anything super powerful.
Sure, and
But
I think we're about at that point. Avok, you got any insights here, buddy?
Kata,
Otherwise, like,
do you
Yeah.
obviously again you're in a bird form right now, but do you try to let
Yeah.
anyone know that
Alright.
there's something in front of you?
I'm going to let I'm going to turn back to myself, let the conjure animals go, and relay that I saw something, something spooky in the direction that I saw.
All right.
So
But
if you guys would like to make me perception checks.
Okay.
Are we still disadvantaged at this point?
No, she's pointed to something specific. This is basically how well you can see in these less than perfect conditions. If it wasn't for the spores, you guys would just see it.
Oh, 23.
Okay, you've already seen it, so it's just Avok and Fade.
13. Oh
Wow.
Yep.
So as you guys both kind of look at it, almost at the same instant, you guys recognize the shape because both of you have seen this before. Is this large,
Jody.
spherical creature?
Oh no.
And as you look closer and you start moving a little bit more forward, it comes into a little bit more focus. You notice at the top of the creature are these stalks
No.
that come
One
out.
of them. Bitch.
And you see in the center of the creature itself is this large, unblinking eye.
Freaking behold.
And you see the creature is slowly moving toward the party. And I would like everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh,
This thing and dead, which is worse.
Let's talk to it. Let's just talk to it.
uh,
Doesn't matter.
that's a 5.
Hold on a second, I gotta type this stuff out.
Okay. Oh no.
And I totally just realized that I don't have my dice out. Might be helpful if these guys are actually going to do anything.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
For what? Following me as usual?
Yeah, you do have kind of a bad track record.
Yeah. And I've seen zombie beholders.
Fade is just being Fade. I am trying to not hate myself for trying to get more story because I love this world so much.
Uh,
All right.
and
Oh,
there's
yeah. These guys are awesome at that. All right, Avok, what do you got?
Oh, it's 22. F.
Kata.
5.
Fade.
14, sir.
And I did the math wrong. Right? Love it, love it, love it. Avok, you're first. You see this creature is coming. It's moving very, very slowly.
Talk to it.
But it is unmistakable. You, the only other interaction you've had with a creature like this, the creature was undead and pieces of it were falling off. This is a relatively perfect spherical creature moving towards you. You don't see pieces falling off of it at all.
Oh, goddamn, not again. Going into a rage, and how far is he from me?
At this particular point, he's roughly about 30 feet away.
Oh, damn, I'm fucking taking him on.
Okay. No, closer to 40 feet, sorry. I have to remember their speed.
I can still reach him, thankfully.
Yeah, you can reach him if you go to dead run and still be able to make an attack.
Oh, yeah, I'm making my 2 attacks. So.
Okay.
Damage this fucking thing before it does any damage to us. Okay, that is a...
So as you are running, I would like you to make me another perception check.
Okay. That's cocked. That's not bad. 20.
So when you get up to him and you're preparing to swing your axe, your vision is kind of drawn to the left, and you notice another one of these creatures moving slowly towards the party from its left flank. And as you look over to your right, you see 2 more of these creatures moving from your right flank, just converging on the party.
Oh, shit. Okay, oh.
You are now right next to the creature itself.
Well played, you motherfucker. I'm gonna still swing at him.
Go for it.
Shit, let this be an illusion, please, for the love of God. 17 plus 8, 25 on the first hit.
Definitely hits. Roll damage.
Thank God. What the hell is my damage now?
Oh, God.
No, wait, it's easy. Right. It's been a while since I. Yeah. Okay. 5 10 plus 4, 11 plus 3, 14 damage.
Right. So as you sit there and swing your axe, you connect with the creature, and as the axe impacts it, you watch the creature itself burst, and you feel this rush of wind and particles start to invade your lungs. And I need a Constitution saving throw from you.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm good at these. Not this time, though. 13.
All right. So you take 10 poison damage. And what is your Constitution modifier?
It's a +4.
All right. Okay. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my friends, it's been a good run.
All right. So as you're sitting there and you swung your axe through this creature, it's not there anymore. You see a pile of what looks like decayed plant matter at your feet, and your lungs are burning.
What the fuck?
Beyond the burning from your lungs, you don't know where the creature went. You do still notice that there are, as you kind of turn around and now you know what to look for, you see that there are 1 coming from the left side of the party, 2 coming from the right side of the party, and 1 coming from behind the party. And they're all currently about 30 feet away from the center of the party.
Fuck. Okay. Guys, we're surrounded, and most of them, I think they spread some shit, so if you get hit from a distance, do that. Oh, that sucks.
Anything else you want to do with your turn? I think you still have 1 attack left.
Is there something next to me? Because I can't.
There's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing next to you, unfortunately.
That's what I thought. So yeah, I'm done.
All right, Fade. You, Avok kind of points out, and you notice there are these other creatures, 2 on your right, 1 on your left, 1 behind you, and they're all moving towards you very slowly, but very determined.
All right. There are 1, 1, and 2.
1, 1, and 2, correct. Grand total of 4.
I will cast Guardian of Faith and make
Okay.
a spectral thing appear in my area.
Okay.
I will then pull out my holy symbol with the shield and kind of just brace for impact.
Okay. So remind me what Guardian of Faith does, because I'm an awesome
Sure.
DM. That
No
I know
problem.
what it does. I want to make sure you know how it works.
All right. A large spectral guardian appears for the duration of 8 hours. The guardian occupies the space and blah, 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 blah. Any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of it for the first time must succeed on a dex save. If it fails, it takes a bunch of damage, 20 radiant, or half as much on a success.
Okay. So you create what's it look like? You can make it look like whatever you want.
Oh, it's me, but bigger.
Okay. So you guys watch as Fade focuses, and then a larger version of him
Holding the great axe.
yeah, holding Avox's great axe,
Yep.
one-handed, with his divine shield in the other hand, and this stoic look of pure indigo energy just kind of stands there, dwarfing the rest of you guys. It's about 10, 12, 15 feet tall, just this massive creature, ready to fight. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
Can I prepare holding my breath for when they pop?
That would kind of be an action, and you've already used yours, so unfortunately not. Good try, though.
Kata's here. Kata, does it look like Kata's going to stay here?
You've no idea. You're a little bit more focused on the beholder
Yeah.
things coming at
I'm
you.
going to position myself in between her and the two of them.
Okay.
With my shield up.
Not very difficult to do.
Okay.
So it's their turn. They move forward. Now all of them are within about 20 feet of the party, except for Avok, who ran 40 feet ahead of everybody. And that's all they can do.
Oh.
They're super, super slow. They're moving with purpose, though. Like you can see, like their eyes are like, "Arr," and they're moving forward. They're just super, super slow. Kata, you're up.
How far are they
They're
away
all
from?
they're all about 20 feet away, roughly.
Okay, and they float, right?
Yeah, they're floating. Right now, they look like they're roughly about, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet off the ground.
Would erupting earth still affect them, or would it not?
What level spell is it?
3.
I'm gonna say sure. I'm gonna say that you can get jagged, bits to fly up high enough to hit them.
Then I'm gonna do
Because
that.
it's erupting Earth. Let's say it does. So what's the area you can cover with that?
It's a 20-foot cube, so I could possibly get to them.
Sure, easily. You could get the there's 2 on the left that you could get without having to hit you or Fade. You could easily get the 2 on the left.
Yep. I'll do that.
Okay, cool. What kind of save is that?
Dex. And it's a DC 16. Alright.
Let's see. That's a failure. And that's a failure. Go ahead and roll damage.
22 points of bludgeoning.
Okay, you watch, and as you sit there and you focus on the ground, these large spikes of earth just kind of erupt from it and pierce both of these creatures, who explode and vanish on impact. And less than half a second later, you feel this wave of particles start invading your lungs. I need both you and Avok to make me 2 Constitution saving throws.
He means me.
Why is it hating me?
He means me.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Avok. Fade. I'm even looking at the names and I can't get them right, guys. Like there's something wrong.
Oh God. So that's an 8 and a 6.
Okay.
10
Fade.
and 22. 10 and 22.
Okay. So what is your Constitution modifier, Kata?
+2.
Okay. Wow. All right. And Fade, what is your Constitution modifier?
3.
You got good con, man. Cool. All right. So, Kata, you take 20 points of poison damage as it infects your lungs and, you know, it just, everything burns. Even your skin burns as these particles wash over you. Fade, you only take 10 points of poison damage. And again, your lungs burn, your skin burns, your eyes burn. But again, the creatures are no longer there. And where they used to be are these piles of decaying plant matter.
Is there a big enough space that I can transform into the Allosaur?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll use my bonus action and do that.
So you guys watch as Katsa gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and big teeth start growing, and her arms shrink up real small. And this massive tail grows out, and you see this giant dinosaur standing right next to you. And after that, it's Avok.
Okay. Oh.
So the one that is closest to you is roughly about 30 feet away, just using diagonals. And the other one is 60 feet away because it's on the exact opposite side of the party. And it's 20 feet from the party. What would you like to do, Avok?
30 feet away. Okay. Avok is going to take one of his 2 javelins and hurl it at the guy who's 30 feet away. He's just in my range.
Okay. Make me an attack roll.
Yep. That's good. I rarely throw things as it is. That's a 25.
Okay. So that definitely hits. Roll damage.
All right. Use that weak weapon. Nice. That's 13 damage.
As you throw it again, you hear this loud popping sound. The creature vanishes from your sight. Kata and Fade, I need Constitution saving throws again.
Okay. 2 of them?
Just one.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Okay.
21.
All right, Kata, you are fine. You kind of brace yourself. Your skin still kind of burns as a wave of these particles wash over you. Fade, you're not quite quick enough, and they get in your eyes and they get in your throat again, and you take another 10 poison damage. But again, the creature has vanished.
Yeah, probably some of my javelin. Okay. Crap. And how close was that one to the party? He was, what, 20 feet away?
Roughly 20 feet from
Shit.
just doing basic math.
Yeah. I try to snipe the other one. It's gonna be the same results. Fuck. What do I do? Yeah. He trusts you guys to be able to withstand this, and he wants to take these things down as quick as possible. So I'm going to move up 40 feet closer and snipe the other one with my last javelin.
Okay. So if you move 40 feet, you'll be within 20 feet of the creature.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, 30 feet over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Figured I would mention that. Not that
Yeah.
it has any bearing on what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Anyways, that is a 16 to hit.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Awesome. Nice. 12 damage.
Again, the creature explodes. Constitution saves from Fade and Kata, please.
Okay.
23.
You are fine.
5.
You take 10 poison damage. So as you look around, again, you see piles of decaying plant matter in the places where these creatures used to be. And nothing else. You have no idea where the creatures went, but as soon as you hit them, they vanished.
That was not pleasant. Has anybody seen my javelins? Can I make a perception check to see if I can find them?
Yeah, they're pretty close to... they're about 5 feet away from the two targets that you hit.
Oh, okay.
They didn't
So,
travel
yeah.
too far.
Yeah, it's just like we're in deep like fungi growth. I didn't know if these things just got lost in the.
Yeah, not really. You do notice as you're kind of walking over to one, as you walk past... go ahead and make me a dex save real quick.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, at least dope. I typically still am raging, so I got advantage on this.
On dex saves?
Danger sense, buddy.
Ah, cool. Actually, it does say that you can see, right?
Yeah, I can see.
So theoretically, just because of a certain property, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to see this until it was too late.
So,
Sorry.
let's disregard those rolls and. That's a net 20, buddy.
Absolutely fine. As you're walking over, you notice there's again there's all these different colored fungus, and as you walk past some purple fungus on the ground, these kind of tendrils reach up and kind of swing at you, and without really thinking, you just bring your axe up and sever them, and then move away. And
Okay.
you see the mushrooms themselves look like they're alive and they're moving, and then you watch the tendrils kind of sink back into the mushrooms, and then they look like every other mushroom on the ground.
Okay.
So weird.
Watch. Let's just tread lightly, I guess. Anyways, pick up my javelins.
Okay. So, after all that, you guys are not feeling well. That was not an enjoyable encounter. But you don't see any more. There's nothing particularly spherical around you guys right now.
Good.
I sit down and just whip the finger to this entire fucking place. Like, I'm gonna sit down right next to my dude because he's here for a day,
Okay.
and I'm going to start eating some food.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. I'm going to create some food and drink and then present it to my group to eat.
Okay.
Mm.
So you guys watch
Yeah,
as Fade
go
creates
back
some
to
water,
normal.
and is there a particular type of food that you create?
Yep, portobello mushrooms.
And
That's
portobello
right.
mushrooms.
I stare out into this place while I just check out, just vigorously.
Right before I go back to normal, as an Alzor, I also let this guy displace a bird.
Tiny, tiny little T-Rex arms going. "Nah."
An Allosaurus, so they're technically a 3.
Yeah,
There's still a middle digit.
Yep.
yeah, I checked.
Anywho.
So she shrinks back down to normal size. You guys feel like crap right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ava's
you're
looking
alive.
at the portobello mushrooms and like,
Yeah.
No
Your
meat.
stomach turns just a little bit when you see the mushroom.
yeah. God damn it, food. Not stuff, it's food.
You guys have been traveling for roughly 8-ish hours at this point, probably pushing 9 now, which is a relatively average amount of time that you would spend traveling. You get the idea that you're probably, again, the bioluminescence doesn't change a whole lot, but you get the idea that it's probably dusk-ish, if not night now.
Yeah, we should probably take a long rest.
I need to study this stuff. The plant leavings.
Okay, sure.
Right.
I need to find out whatever I can, because I've specifically dealt with magical plants as like
Yeah.
part of my training.
Definitely,
So I need
you
to
would have done that.
No.
Go ahead and make me an intelligence nature check.
All right, I will do.
Just for the heck of it, can I make one too?
Sure, but you're going to make it with disadvantage just because you are very much out of your element.
Okay.
Fade, what'd you get?
With guidance, because that's a thing that I do when I'm preparing for something like this.
Of
I
course.
rolled a unnatural 20.
So a total of 20?
Yes.
Total of 20. Okay. Kata?
2.
No idea. You've never seen something like this. It looks rotten. And it's definitely not meat. It's not protein.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you got nothing. Fade, looking at it, it's definitely rotten. You can see spores on the inside. The material that was left behind, you can see some spores that are attached to it that you look at, and they're unlike anything you've ever seen before. But this is obviously a form of fungus. Beyond that,
All right.
so you've literally never seen anything close to something like this.
Okay. I will bottle some up in one of my vials because I have a whole set now. And cork it and then be done.
Okay.
I'm rather annoyed with this forest, if I didn't make that clear. So
So are the rest of us.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
not super interested in staying here, but at the same time, we just blew resources for no reason, pretty much.
Yeah, we did.
So we've already been traveling for a bunch of hours. I don't like it, but we have some protection here with my guy up.
And he lasts for how long again?
8 hours.
So yeah, I mean it's not like he's going anywhere anytime soon.
So I will propose to the group that we rest here. That we
Okay.
can.
Okay. Do you guys want to set up a watch?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Who wants to take first watch, second watch?
I'll take first.
Okay.
I'll go for second.
I'll take third.
All right.
And we can
And
have
then-
Scar do 4.
Well, Elaine technically will take fourth. Okay. He's just been kind of waiting in the back, being remarkably quiet for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
It's actually not that bizarre.
Fade, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
If I'm on watch, I'm going to be alert, so I'm going to be guidance myself
Yeah, definitely.
for a total of 15.
So looking around, not a whole lot is really going on. You still feel really bad. Like you thought it would kind of go away after a while, and it's not.
I'm gonna. This is creepy, but it's like a good thing. I'm going to cast protection from poison on myself,
Okay.
which eliminates the poison effect if I'm just assuming I'm poisoned. And then
Okay.
I'm also going to. I'm going to nimbly go to each of my other party members and cast it on them while they're sleeping. So I just like touch their leg and cast a spell on them.
I
Yeah,
have
that's a
to
good.
look at something. Hold, please. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, the moment you touch Avok's leg, he's like jolting, grabs his grass, and like, the fuck are you doing?
No, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. We're good. We're good. Want some mushrooms? Here you go. Let it eat.
Swag.
Oh,
I have to see how this spell works very quickly here because
If you touch a creature, if it is poisoned, you neutralize the poison. If more than one poison afflicts the target, you neutralize one poison that you know is present, or you neutralize one at random. For the duration, which is 1 hour, target has advantage in saving throws and resistance to poison.
all right. So as you do that, before you cast it on anyone else, you cast it on yourself.
Sure.
Doesn't seem to really help.
Okay, then I wouldn't bother.
I
Okay.
kind of figured.
working that.
And then you go to get some rest. Kata, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay.
You notice your shield garden does not seem to be afflicted by anything, so that's nice.
That's cool. Thanks for that tidbit.
What about you, Kata?
25.
25. As you look around, again, not a whole lot for the first hour. Nothing seems to be going on. And after that first hour, you start hearing strange grunting noises. And trying to figure out what it is, you look over and you see Avok, who's asleep currently, is tossing and turning and kind of grunting and wheezing like he's fighting against something.
Can I try to cast Lesser Restoration on him?
As you go over to him and you touch his skin, it is really hot. It's obvious he has a fever. As you bring your hand away, it's covered in sweat. He's sweating like a madman. Give me a few seconds here, because I can never remember what Lesser Restoration does compared to Greater.
You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition inflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Okay, cool. So as you sit there focusing on him, you can see he's burning up. Avok, at this point you wake up and your entire body hurts. You can't move very well. You feel yourself having a fever. As soon as you wake up, you retch and empty the contents of your stomach. You see Kata above you, and she places her hand on you, and you instantly, her hand is cold to you. As soon as she touches you, you actually retch away from it because it's so cold compared to your skin. It actually hurts at first. And as she sits there, and you kind of force yourself, because you know Kata, you know she's not trying to hurt you. As she sits there and she puts her ice cold hands on you, you see her start incanting, and you see this energy start flowing from her into your body, and you see your body slowly start to relax. You feel the fever start to break a little bit. You get the idea that it's probably going to take probably the rest of this long rest for you to fully recover from whatever this is, even with the lesser restoration that's just been cast on you. But you are feeling a little bit better. And Kata, you can actually feel his temperature start to lower through your hand.
Much better.
However, Ava, you're getting the idea that you're probably not going to be okay enough to stay on watch. Like you're having a hard time keeping your eyes open as it is right now.
I'm Elfie. I'll take another one.
Okay.
Right.
So, Kata, you finish your watch. You notice that Avok is sleeping. Doesn't look like he's sleeping well, but he is sleeping. And then you go and wake up Fade for his second half of the watch.
Avok not feeling well. Can you finish up?
Oh, I suppose.
All right, so Kata lies down. Fade, go ahead and give me another perception check.
20.
Yet again, not a whole lot happens for the first half hour, and then you are hit by a wave of nausea. You feel your skin start getting clammy, your mouth dries up completely, you have a hard time swallowing. Every time you breathe in, your lungs burn like you're suffocating, and your vision starts to swim. As this is happening, you hear these small kind of squeaks and squeals, and you look over and you see Kata tumbling and tossing and turning in her bed and kind of crying out a little bit. You see her hair is plastered to her face and her neck because she's drenched in sweat. And you yourself have developed this flop sweat.
I'm going to instruct Scar. I mean, I don't know what these plants are, but I took a sample, I studied it, I got whatever I could. I'm going to have Scar go out and look for some other type of growth that's around here to see if maybe I can find like a neutralizing agent or something. I don't expect much, but I'm just going to try it.
Sure.
Do.
You send him out. At this point, you're having a hard time standing.
I'm going to blow a great arresto on myself then, because I hate this.
So as you sit there and you touch yourself, even you can see steam rising off of your skin. Your temperature is so high.
Fuck.
And as you sit there and you try to cast it on yourself, I'd like you to make a concentration check.
Oh boy, oh yeah. Can I first make a concentration check to guidance myself because of what I'm doing?
I'm going to say because you didn't, you wouldn't really be expecting this. I'm not going to let you guidance this particular roll.
Okay, then I fail.
Okay, so sitting there trying to focus, you know the spell, you know the incantation, but you can't get your mind to focus on it well enough to be able to complete it. You don't waste the spell slot, but you're not able to complete the spell at this time. Kata, at this time, you've become so uncomfortable that you can't sleep anymore. You have a fever. You're sweating. Everything hurts. Your muscles are very, very weak. Just like Avok did before, you lose the remnants of the dinner that you just ate. And you're in so much pain that you can't continue sleeping. What would you like to do?
Do I see him in the same condition?
Yeah, you see Fade is sitting there. You actually see him trying to. It looks like he's trying to cast a spell, and he just doesn't seem to be able to do it.
I'm gonna realizing that we both got the same thing that Ava did from those spores. Can I try to cast Lesser Restoration on myself?
Sure, but I'm going to need a concentration check.
Okay.
And I should have done this as Avok, but I forgot. Or, not Avok, Fade. I don't know why I keep confusing you two. There's no reason whatsoever. You will make this with disadvantage, unfortunately.
Oh, God. Oh, wait. I have my Constitution, right?
Yep. Looking for a 10 or higher.
11.
11. So you are able to focus enough. You cast the spell. And again, you immediately feel this relief. You feel your fever break. Again, this was such an ordeal that you're pretty sure it's going to take the rest of this long rest for you to completely recover from it. But you don't think you're in danger anymore. Fate, on the other hand, looks like death warmed over.
I'm going to crawl over to him and try to do the saying to him.
Okay. So, Fade, you feel this ice, or no, it's not that cold anymore. You feel this hand kind of grip you on the leg. No concentration check is required anymore.
Okay.
Am I delirious at this point?
I will let you decide.
What do you want, song? Leave me alone.
So as you sit there starting to try and cast the spell, he actually kicks your hand off. And you're not able... Like, you still have the spell ready to cast, but you have to get a decent grip on him in order to transfer the spell into him. And he kind of kicks you off. You notice that his eyes are dilated, and he doesn't... He's almost like he's looking through you. And saying things that don't make a ton of sense right now.
I'm going to try as I might to try getting him in a hug and try to restrain him while I cast it.
Just make a straight up grapple check. So make a strength athletics check. And Fade, you can choose athletics or acrobatics, but yours is made at disadvantage.
Okay.
I choose to fail this because I'm embracing exactly what he wants right now.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
17.
So you're able to kind of hug him, and the magic goes into him. And Fade, you feel your fever break. Your vision stops swimming quite as much. Your legs strengthen that. You feel horrible, but you're pretty sure by the end of this long rest, you'll probably be back to yourself.
No.
Do better
Hey?
now.
I look around like I'm looking for someone. Okay. Good night. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be up.
Yeah, you get to... kind of like Avok, due to the fact that this happened half an hour into your 2-hour watch, you don't think you're going to be able to stay conscious enough to finish your watch. Like, you are that worn out.
I call Star back and say, "All right, keep us safe, buddy." I go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will roll
Okay. Yeah, I go to sleep too then.
Yep.
Did you cast it on Avok yet?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
He was the first one to show symptoms, which is hilarious because I'm relatively certain he has the highest Constitution score.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I took that stuff face first. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also, you'll find out later, but I rolled low for you, so. So I am going to choose. Where's my D6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I thought. Yeah. So as you all kind of fall asleep, Evok, as you're sleeping, you're having a hard time getting to sleep after that whole ordeal. But you eventually, like, you move away from your pile of sick and find a new comfortable spot to kind of lay down. You make sure none of the mushrooms here are going to get up and, try to strangle you. And then you fall asleep. And as you're asleep, you suddenly wake up because somebody is shaking you awake. And as you look up, you see the eyes of your half-brother, if I remember correctly, because he was a half-orc.
Yep.
You see the eyes of your half-brother sitting there going, "Hey, Evok, get up! What are you doing?" And then as you look, you hear this explosion. "Come on!" And he rips you up. And you look around and you see elven blade singers next to you fighting with wood elves and things like that. And the wood elves are firing arrows and launching bolts of fire and things like that at them, and they're deflecting them back. You see another explosion right next to you, and your brother's sitting there, "Come on, charge!" And he runs forward, only for you to watch him as an arrow pierces him straight through the heart. And you watch him go down to one knee, get up again, and start charging again, and another arrow goes and pierces him in the other side, and he hits the ground and falls over. And as you're looking around, you see these large explosions. You see one of the Eladrin go over, try to pick up your brother's weapon, who he still has a death grip on, and just reaches up to what looks like he's going to chop his arm off to get at the weapon. What do you do?
No, I'm gonna frickin' run him through with. I would have my greatsword this time.
Mm-hmm. So you run forward. Go ahead and make me attack roll.
Yep. That I haven't used the greatsword in a while. Wait, that doesn't mean shit. Hang on. 15 plus. Wow, brain dead. Yeah,
Stay in
it's
school, kids.
yes, 23. 23.
So you come over as this guy looks like he's about to lop off your brother's arm, and you run him through, and just the weight and force of your movement makes you impale him all the way up to the crossguard on your blade. And you actually lift him into the air a little bit and kind of throw him to the side. You can't retrieve your blade from him because of how far you've impaled him on it. As soon as you do that, you see these other Eladrin come over and start, and they bring out these devices that you're not used to seeing on the battlefield. They're kind of similar to a wand, but they're enchanted with the cantrip Shocking Grasp. And they're specifically designed to be used when the Eladrin torture people. They sit there and they just press it to you, and electricity kind of flows through your body, and that's similar to kind of a cattle prod. They don't carry these in battle, but you see 3 Eladrin coming towards you with these things, and you can't really understand why. And then you realize that your arms are chained to the ground And as you kind of pull up on them, you realize that your arms are chained as your neck. There's a manacle around your neck that is attached to a wall that somehow appeared behind you. And so you can't move, and they come over to you and go, well, it looks like someone doesn't understand where his place is. And they press the device to you, and you feel this electricity flowing through you, making all of your muscles seize at once. And then he stops. Say it. Apologize, you filthy, disgusting creature.
Oh, is that the best you can do, you piece of shit?
And as you say that, he hits it again, and you feel yourself bite through your tongue. And blood fills your mouth, and you have to spit it out a little bit. And as you're sitting there, you start hearing this crying sound. You don't really know what it is, and then you suddenly realize that it's you. And you notice that everything around you is much larger than you think it should be. You see tables that are taller than your head. And you see furniture that just seems far too large to be used by a regular-sized person. And then you see a figure that you've never seen before. But for some odd reason, you feel this incredible longing for them. And then you see Eladrin come in with swords drawn, and you hear this female voice kind of go, please, just stay in the cupboard. Stay in the cupboard. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. And you realize that the crying that you're hearing is you. And she goes, please, please, please be quiet. And the door shuts, but you can see just barely outside, you see these Eladrin come in and just run this woman through. And it's almost as if they've just run you through. This just bestial rage of a cry leaps from inside you, and you burst forward, and then instantly feel this wetness and just fire erupt on your face as a boot comes down and smacks and breaks your nose. And after that happens, you wake up, and you're in the mushroom forest. You check your nose; it's not broken. You look for any burn marks or anything. There's nothing there. But you feel horrible. Your hit point maximum has been reduced by 5.
So the aid that was given to us is gone.
It's wearing off.
The aid would have worn off. Technically, I believe aid's not a concentration spell, right?
No, but it's over in 8 hours, so we sleep, it's gone.
So yeah, it would have worn off. So your normal hit point maximum is reduced by 5.
Okay. Fuck.
And you did not get the effect of a long rest.
Oh dear.
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
So whatever hit points you were missing before are still gone.
It's okay. I was at 121 HP anyways.
You guys are fine for the most part. Again, you don't feel phenomenal. You had a really rough night. But you think whatever it was the spores did to you has been kind of cleansed from your body. But you do notice that when Avok wakes up, he's got these deep bags under his eyes. He seems a little bit grumpier than he normally is.
Not possible.
Okay. So, what would you like to do?
I detect magic as a ritual because fuck this.
Okay. looking around, you notice that the area that you're in is even more concentrated with the magic than the last time you did this. You're obviously getting towards something very, very magical. And you notice something weird when you look at Avok. There's a small on his chest. You notice from where you're standing, you can't really see details, but something on his chest is glowing.
Oh, for God's sakes, he's not going to let me get near him.
You can, if you get within like 5 feet, you'll be able to, I mean, within 10 feet, you'll be fine to be able to see whatever it is. He's far enough away from you right now, and he's kind of laying down that all you can really tell is that something on his chest is glowing.
Yeah, I'll get over there.
Okay. As you get within about 10 feet, and you look at his chest, there's a handprint that's glowing on his chest. It's very skinny. The fingers themselves don't look quite wide enough. They look longer than they should be. The hand itself, if you had to kind of like reverse engineer the hand from the handprint, you would think the handprint was probably emaciated from someone that was emaciated who had abnormally long fingers. But
I quickly look over at the star and look at his hands. Do they match?
They have normal size fingers, so no. And while his flesh, because he's kind of a zombie, the flesh on his hand is still mostly there. He hasn't, lost any weight.
Fun.
Yeah. Once, remarkably enough, once you go undead, you don't actually have to worry about your weight anymore. Like you can eat anything you want. It's really just going to stay the same.
Would I have? I mean, you tell me. So my spiritual guardian lasted for our nap because we basically had combat for 6 seconds and then it went away.
We went the entire time.
Was it able to? Because even on a failed save, it does damage.
Mm-hmm.
Did it do damage? I don't need to know what it hit, but did it expel energy?
Not that you're aware of.
Okay.
I'm going to really quick check that spell. Because if I ask you a question, it's going to give away more than I want to. So I'm just going to look at the spell.
That's fine. All right. So, Avok, are you awake?
Yeah. Apparently.
What's it called again?
The Guardian of Faith.
That starts with G, not S.
That is correct. That's how letters work.
Are you sure?
No. So I'm over Avok. A little distance because I know he's not feeling great because neither am I. I'm going to ask him a question. What touched you?
And I did confirm Shield Guardian had nothing happen to it. Did not expel any of its energy.
Okay.
Or the Guardian of Faith, sorry.
Last I remember, Katza did help me feel a little better, I guess. Still. But
Do I see what Fade sees?
You would have to cast Detect Magic. The only reason he can see it is because he has magic vision.
Of course.
He can see magic.
I get shifty eyes and I look over at Kata and study her hands for a moment.
Uh,
And
her hands are very small.
okay.
Like she's a relatively petite girl in general. So
All right, I will take out. I don't even have a little dagger. I'll just take my finger in the dirt or in the spores and draw this hand that I'm looking at.
okay.
Just trying to get the size right. And I say, Avok, look at this.
It takes a little bit of time, but yeah, within about 3 to 5 minutes, you're able to kind of outline that well before your detect magic wears off.
And I let him know that he has been touched by something, and there is some kind of magical presence that looks exactly like this, clinging to your chest.
Oh,
For fuck's sake.
Can you remember anything about the fight? Did the thing touch you?
No, I pretty much popped it before it even had a chance.
Okay. So Kata, I show her the hand, and if you see someone with a hand like this, they are not our friend.
I.
And so, can I, Avok? What's your hit point deficit? Because I'll heal you if you're still down.
Oddly enough, I'm at full. The maximum got reduced to what I took
Okay.
damage. Yeah.
Okay, and Kata and I are good. So I guess. Oh shit! Hey Scar, does this look familiar?
Avok.
Okay, then we need to keep going. Oh, and before I say that, I will sit down and take some of this decayed plant matter that I had, put it on the ground, and say a little prayer, asking for guidance.
Okay.
And I actually have Scar sit next to me, like cross-legged across to me, and we both kind of like not hold hands, but
Kumbaya. So you cast the guidance spell, or you looking for direction again?
I need to know because I was guessing at that last point. Not that I'm going to tell anyone, but
Sure. So you're I guess I guess my question is, are you trying to contact the Dark Lady right now, or what? Explain specifically to me what you're trying to do.
sure. Um, I, you know what? I'm not even trying to talk to her or get her to talk to me. I'm trying to hone in on that tug that I felt before.
Oh, okay. Straight up wisdom check.
16 this time.
You're feeling actually.
If you'll allow me to focus, because that's what I took the time to do. So guidance would add 3 to that.
Sure, that's fine. How much would that be total?
So 19.
All right. So, as you sit there and you're trying to concentrate, the direction that you felt yourself being pulled has changed and has started to become a little bit stronger. You're starting to get the idea that the closer you get to this, whatever it is, the stronger the pull is going to be. As long as you can kind of find whatever it is that's connecting you to this pull.
Sure.
But directions changed. You were going basically northwest, just to pick a direction. You were going northwest, and this is much closer to west than it was northwest. So it's very obviously a change in direction now.
Okay.
But you're feeling a pull in that direction.
I start walking. If
Okay.
everyone's ready, I start walking. I'll even if Avok will allow it, Scar will help him walk if he needs it.
I can walk just fine. I'm just really fucking out of it.
So you guys begin walking, and again, Avok, from your experiences before, you're able to kind of recognize areas that you think would be better avoided than gone through. Whatever those mushrooms were that attacked you before, you can't really tell them from other mushrooms that look similar. But you're good enough that you're like, okay, that's a lot of mushrooms there. We're gonna walk around that. And so you guys are able to travel. It takes you a lot longer to do this because you're avoiding very large parts of path that you normally would have just walked through. But you are kind of making progress. And after a couple of hours, you guys start to smell something different. And you all instantly recognize the smell of something burning wood. You get the smell of cooked flesh of some sort of meat, wafting in the air, and something else that you don't recognize. But cooked meat and something burning, instant. Like you instantly recognize them.
Okay.
I have a new spell to test out. I have to read how it goes.
Okay. I gotta stop closing this.
It doesn't work that way. Never mind.
Okay. Fade, you would know instinctually. You know that an uncovered fire in general, the scent of burning wood and things like that, will generally carry at least about 1,000 feet. And from where you are, like you, just from your kind of military training, you get a pretty good idea wherever this source of fire is. You can kind of pinpoint where it is based on the smell. Again, something like this has saved your life before, so.
Alright. Let's follow that.
And Avok, you notice that, or not Avok, Fade, sorry. Fade, you notice that Avok is actually pointing the exact direction that you were feeling pulled a couple of hours ago. Like, perfectly.
Oh, you feel it too? Yeah, that's the way we're supposed to go.
I don't feel anything. I just smell grilled cooking. I'm hungry.
Neither do I.
So, as you guys are, I'm assuming you guys move forward, or?
Yeah, let's in that direction.
So another 5-10 minutes, you guys are kind of coming around, and you start noticing like deer trails in this mushroom forest, and you get onto one that's wider than any that you've seen thus far, and you travel on it for another like 5-10 minutes, and you see a mushroom that looks to have been hollowed out, and you can see smoke rising from the top of the mushroom. The mushroom itself is large. It's probably, as far as like diameter, it's probably the largest mushroom that you've seen thus far. But there's a door on it, and you can see a hole at the top of it that the smoke is kind of coming out. And you can see a window on it. And the curtains are closed, but you can see a very familiar sight of the reflection of firelight and shadows on the drawn curtains. So you're relatively certain that's where the fire is coming from, and someone is in there.
I will instruct Star to wait in the forest here.
What was that?
In the tree. Scar's gonna wait in the tree line. I don't want to
Okay.
freak new people out.
Who the hell lives in a mushroom?
And as you say that, the door swings open, and you see this woman step out. She steps out kind of gingerly. You notice she has silver hair that goes down her back, braided. And you immediately pick up on the pointed ears that are typical of anyone with elven heritage. And it's they're obvious, they're pointed enough that you're certain that this is a full-blood elf, not like a half-elf or anything like that. But from just a casual glance, you can't really tell if they're wood elf, high elf, Eladrin. You know they're not a half elf. And so you see this very old elven woman come out. And you've never actually seen a really old elf. All the commanders you ever worked with were, in their prime. When you raided wood elven villages in general, you didn't really deal with a ton of elderly. They never really got that old. Living in the wild, they were generally culled before that. So this is kind of unique to see an elven woman. She doesn't look decrepit or anything, but it's obvious that her age is advanced. And she kind of looks at you and smiles a little bit and goes, "Yes, yes, come in. Come in. We all know that it's not the safest place in the world to wander. The fungal forest. Come in, please. I've been waiting for you."
Can I roll insight to see if she's being honest?
Sure. Go ahead and roll insight.
Okay. 15?
So looking at her, again, you've had such limited interaction with humans. It's really hard for you to kind of pick up on the cues for lying. But she's smiling, and you kind of get... The smile looks warm. That's really all you can tell. And she seems, at least to you, she seems genuinely happy to see you. And now that the door is open, you guys get hit by this wave of scent of food. And it smells good. Come in, I've got a lovely stew just waiting to be eaten.
Well,
Come on.
should we?
There are far too many dangers. And don't worry about your undead, but let's call him a pet. I prefer him not to be in the house, but he can stay right outside. He'll be protected from the elements. The roof here does have quite a bit of a lip.
I out loud say this to both of the other party members. This is obviously a trap, but I start walking in.
Okay.
Well, obviously. I mean, when is the last time you've seen a wood elven woman invite an Eladrin into her house? I have the shackles waiting for you inside, and I have made sure that the knives are sharp, so it will be relatively, well, not really painless. I mean, let's be honest, it's fun to torture a Ladrin from now and then.
Oh, it sure is. This is fun. Let's do that.
And you see her just kind of shake her head and go, come on. I'm not going to bite hard. Well, the others will be back soon, and then we can eat.
There's
Others who live here.
Well, yes, you don't think an old wood elven woman could live here on her own, do you? With the things that you've seen in the forest. And you haven't seen the worst of them. There's Fomorians, there are displacer beasts, there are Cyclops. This is not a safe place. If it weren't for your mission, I would tell you to turn back immediately.
what now? Okay, I'm so inciting this bitch.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Again, the last time you saw a wood elf, you were killing them. So being able to really get their tells.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you saw wood elves back at the encampment. But beyond that, I mean, you're not really that. She seems honest. Like she doesn't have any obvious tells or anything like that. She seems completely honest. And she goes, I know what you're thinking. If you would just come in. Look. And she sits there and she takes a rope that appears to be kind of cinching the dress that she's wearing. And she unties
Oh, God,
it.
I don't need to see that.
It's just a cinch. It's not like keeping anything up. It just, makes the dress fit her form better. And so she unties the rope and she starts looping it around her hands. And she sits there and she uses her teeth and she ties kind of a rudimentary knot. There. Now I'm completely helpless. Will you get in the house? Please, they're going to be here soon, and if you make them wait, they're just going to be annoyed, and I'm going to have a hard enough time getting them to like you.
Okay. Come on, let's go.
This is so fucked. I walk in.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
All right. So you all walk in. As you walk in, she very quickly unties herself, puts it back on as the cinch that it was. And that is where we're going to end the story for tonight. So for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. I do try to run games here every Tuesday night. Next week, I'm actually not sure if I'm going to be able to because I have surgery on Friday, and I've never had surgery before, and they have to put me under and all this stuff, and so I actually don't know how well I'm going to be on Tuesday. But
best wishes, dude.
Thank you very much. But feel free to follow me here on Twitch. You get a notification every time I stream, and you can follow me on Twitter. I generally, if there's any updates or anything, I will put it there. I'm at Trainer Jody on Twitter. I do upload all of these videos to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Trainer Jody. So if you want to catch up on any of the other adventures that we've had, just go ahead and head over there. Otherwise, that's all from me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.